Audio Jungle.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper, Holness defiant in victory speech. Prime Minister Andrew Holness delivered a powerful victory speech after the Jamaica Labour Party JLP general election win on Wednesday. He declared, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," during his address to supporters at the JLP headquarters on Belmont Road in St. Andrew. His remarks were made against the background of a grueling campaign during which he had to fend off allegations of corruption. "Jamaica is at a special place today. This is an opportunity," Holness told Labour Rights. "For me, it was also a personal challenge. After all the attacks, the lies, the rumors, I am still solid as a rock. They just can't stop me now," he added, quoting lyrics from the reggae icon Sizzler, who he recently credited as an inspiration. The JLP won 34 seats to the PNP 29, following the preliminary counting of votes on Wednesday to clinch historic third consecutive term in government. Apparently humbled by the slim margin of victory, Holness cautioned against complacency. "In the third term, as in the first and the second, we must guard against arrogance. We must develop an even keener ears to listen to the people. We must address the needs of the people. And while it is clear that the majority has chosen the Jamaica Labour Party, there are still those who don't share the view," Holness stated. He also acknowledged that more needs to be done to have more Jamaicans feel the benefit of the economic gain of this island, which he has made over the last decade. "They want prosperity to come to their driveway and their doorway. This government must be laser focused to ensure that there is prosperity for all Jamaicans," Holness added. "Prosperity may mean peace, their children getting to university, the road fixed in their community. We must be focused on delivering their basic services." Disability advocates decry slow progress in making Jamaica courthouses accessible. Gloria Goff, Executive Director of the Combined Disabilities Association, has expressed concern surrounding the near space at which the government is moving to retrofit courthouses and other public spaces to accommodate persons with disabilities. "We know for a fact of some of our members who have gone to courtrooms and the courts have to come downstairs for them, and that is one indication that the courtroom is not accessible, and persons who have to go there in wheelchairs, especially on couches, have had their experience. I have no doubt that courthouses are not accessible, and I think this statement from the government that we're doing it and that we should have somewhere to go is evident that we're still not there yet," she stated. Her concern follows a recent court case at the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court, where proceedings had to be moved downstairs to accommodate an individual in a wheelchair. While acknowledging that the government's commitment to retrofit courthouses to improve accessibility for persons with disabilities, Goff noted that implementation has been too slow and inconsistent. "The pace of retrofitting or building accessible public areas, public buildings, and public facilities is going slower, much slower than we would like. We know that there has been some improvement, but it's really incremental sometimes. It's really incremental. We need to speed up some more, especially now that we have to conform with the Disabilities Act and with the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which we speak across access for all, and the need for state parties, governments of different countries, and the need for them to ensure that as much as possible, the access is provided for all persons with disability," she stated. "We're definitely not comfortable with this space, and more even so within the towns, outside of the courts. While some progress have been made, it is still slow, and if it is slow in Kingston and the metropolitan region, it is still slow in the rural parts of the rural parishes," she added. She also pointed out that accessibility goes beyond ramps and elevators. It includes features for persons who are blind and the elderly, such as proper railing, adequate stair design, and elevators that accommodate motorized wheelchairs. "We also have to keep in mind that physical access to a courtroom is not for persons who are users of wheelchairs or crutches or that kind of mobility device. It's also for persons who are blind. So therefore, the stairs have to be considered. Not that persons who are blind cannot use staircase, but there must have the relevant rails on both sides. where we have to go upstairs. So that has to be taken into consideration, even if we're going to continue with stairs, because depending on the level or the size of the courtroom, if it is not an elevator, it should be to go upstairs there. If we are going to use the stairs along with ramps, then we have to also ensure that the stairs are constructed in such a way that it doesn't pose a danger for persons who have other types of disabilities and the elderly. Remember, you are talking about senior citizens who have challenges, she stated. She is calling for a comprehensive accessibility access to all court facilities. I think in time, though an assessment of the courtrooms will be done to ascertain the level of compliance of these courtrooms and to also indicate to the population the level of accessibility within these courtrooms, because sometimes, even when they are ramped, they are not to be specifications. And even with elevators, they too have to have a particular specification to accommodate persons who are going to be using wheelchairs and especially larger wheelchairs. Because keep in mind that not everybody uses a manual wheelchair, she noted. Gary Lewis, Manager of Access, Compliance and Investigation of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, told reporters that the council has been conducting assessments of some of the country's government ministries, and plans are also underway to conduct an accessibility access to the island's courts. I have a pending assessment to actually complete at the Supreme Court, so I'm actually starting to canvass with the judiciary system as well. I have completed an assessment by the Ministry of Justice before, so work is currently being done on it. However, in terms of how accessible they are, I won't be able to say precisely, like a compliance rate, as I would not be able to do so until after a finished report, Lewis noted. He added that these assessments are based on the JCPD's accessibility checklist, which is designed to identify architectural and communication barriers encountered by persons with disabilities in private and public facilities. It is of the utmost importance to ensure that persons with disabilities are able to gain access to everything that they need to make their lives prosperous and make their lives one that is full of potential. It is currently being worked on island-wide, however, we are a little bit behind where accessibility is concerned, admittedly, and it is for us as a nation, not just for the JCPD, to work on, but for us as individuals to also think about accessibility and think about those of our brothers and sisters with disabilities. As therefore, there are no difference between you and I. They are the same, they vote, they do every single thing that we do, they go to the bars, they go to church, they go to school. So we all are one, and we're trying to push that idea as well. It will be done at parish courts, Lewis noted. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck acknowledged that while there have been ongoing efforts to renovate and upgrade courthouses across Jamaica, progress in making them fully accessible for individuals with disabilities have been slower than desired. Over the last few years, we have started to renovate our courtrooms to upgrade them, but also to ensure that they have either elevators or the opportunity to lifts that can take persons who are in wheelchairs into the courts, many of them which are on the first floor and not the ground floor. The other possibility which its judges have also used is to have cases involving disabled persons tried on the ground floor, but this is not always possible because especially in the parish courts or the courts in various communities, they are on the top of the police station and therefore, to renovate, those courtrooms involve major adjustment not only to the courts but sometimes to the police stations. So this is an ongoing project, but I will admit it is not moving as fast as it should to make accessibility to all disabled persons who need to use the courthouse, he stated. Chuck admitted that procurement details have hampered implementation, but emphasized that funding is available and efforts are underway to address the gaps, with plans to retrofit at least one or two courthouses in the current fiscal year. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.